to Fortress Festival 2024, and you're here with Devlog for Devolution magazine, and I'm here to speak from the amazing Vemod. Tell the gentleman and ladies and gentlemen.
My name is Åsli. I perform guitars and a bit of synthesizers and some vocals in Vemod.
And a fantastic band you are too. I listened to the Deepening this year, and I'm very taken with it. Particularly myself, having lived in Norway for a year in Bergen, and being taken with like just the surroundings, the overwhelming surroundings.
Yes.
And you've described your music as dark ethereal metal.
It's been said to be that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's influenced in any way by your surroundings?
I think so. It was always my intention to make music that reflected those surroundings and the landscapes that I grew up in.
Yes.
And with time, it also grew into the human condition itself. Like there's a lot of the human condition in our music, but it marries with the landscapes and the elemental, natural forces around us.
Yeah.
So it's definitely my intention to have that marriage in our music. Yeah.
Absolutely. I find it a fascinating thing as a songwriter myself that where you record your music or where you write your music can permeate your music in such a way.
For sure. I mean, it's very, very important and a big part of making music, I think. And it has a huge influence on what atmosphere you are able to create. And I pay a lot of attention to that and where we work, where I go to sort of come into the right mood to make this sort of music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know from my experiences that Norway is a country that does encourage its music scene.
Yeah, that's true.
In a way that our government could learn a lot of lessons from.
Right.
It does seem that the cultural aspects of Norway are taken care of. I remember the library in Bergen. I could rent a guitar from there if I wanted.
Yes, that's
things like that.
Yeah.
Unheard of in this country.
Yeah, right.
Do you think? I know that black metal in itself, when it came out in Norway, and for obvious reasons, was kind of an enemy to the state.
Yeah.
Now it seems that the state have embraced it a little bit, and they're kind of proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a cultural export, as they say. I think it went. I wasn't around, but I think it went quite quickly.
Yeah.
So it was scary for a few years, and then but pretty quickly, like in the beginning of the 2000s, I think something changed.
It became something of worth.
Yes.
Quite quickly. It's funny because I was actually working in a record shop when we first got black metal in this country. Dark phone tapes were coming through, and Mayhem, and all that kind of stuff. And I remember the Kerrang magazine in this country particularly did a big splash about it.
Yeah, the famous
these
one.
crazy Norwegians who are burning down the churches and that sort of stuff. And what it's evolved into now, which is incredible, really. But people don't realise it has a birth much further back than that with Bathory and Sweden. You know, and going back to the 80s. And it's been a rich part of the musical landscape for a very, very long time.
It is true. So, I mean, you can't really underestimate the environment that all of this came from.
Yes.
So that's, I mean, probably someone has analyzed this in a way deeper way than I have. But, you know, I really think one should pay attention to that when listening to this sort of music.
Yes.
And as an artist, it's very important for me to embrace that to a full extent.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things I've touched on with a few of the other producers of this music this weekend is the vehicle of black metal being good for storytelling. And one thing that I think you unites all these different types of black metal we're hearing, because there are so many different types, is its ability to tell stories.
Yes.
Of all kinds.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I was just talking to someone else about this in an interview, and it's very important for our band to maybe not tell a story, but at least have a musical narrative throughout an album.
Sure.
And this sort of music really facilitates that, especially when you bring a bit of other elements in. And I think black metal is sort of it's very easy to blend other elements into it in a successful way, and you create something new and exciting. Even to this day, I think it's possible to do that. So that speaks to the inherent qualities of this sort of music, I think.
Absolutely. Something occurred to me this weekend when listening to all the bands is black metal is a sort of music that isn't dependent on singles and hit singles, because there's songs we all know, but there's not really singles, and it's more an album driven
for sure
culture.
I think that's important, that some both artists and entire genres pay tribute or keep that tradition alive, because I think for me it's impossible to imagine anything else than listening to an album from point A to point B and sit through the entire experience.
Absolutely.
And I mean, those poor souls that don't have that experience, they are really missing out on something.
Yeah.
And I think, it's especially in that sort of environment that we all live in now, with all the noise and the distractions, I think it's really important to have that still. Someone who makes albums that we can sit and listen to and be taken away for a while.
Yeah, it's more of a meditative.
Exactly.
Where I know it's certainly for myself when I'm listening to black metal albums, I can't just stick it on. It demands all my attention.
Yeah, it does, and that's healthy, I think.
Yes.
For
especially in this day.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So I think it plays a crucial part in just keeping ourselves sane, I think.
So there you go. We're keeping the spirit of making albums alive.
Exactly. Yeah. I think but I'm passionate about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really one of those things that I find truly inspiring, and whenever entering the moment of creation when you're making music, it's always with a potential album sketch in the back of my mind. That's one of the things that drives creativity for me, that I know that I will be able to make something out of there will be a puzzle where we have to find a structure and a narrative and an atmosphere that goes through the entire record, and I think that's one of the most fun parts of making music.
Absolutely. I always equate it to, when you see people making an ice sculpture, you've got the big ice and chip away at it, suddenly it takes form.
Yeah.
Before you know, you've got this beautiful thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very similar, and you can have a pretty clear idea of what you want, but usually the process allows for new things to occur, and by the end you have something that is exciting for you as well. I mean, maybe it didn't turn out the way you thought, but it turned out great.
Yeah.
Usually. So that's very fun and very inspiring.
Absolutely. And your latest great sculpture is the Deepening.
Yeah.
And it's out now, and I'll be checking you out and going through all the discography and everything. Very excited.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.